everyone, and welcome. Before we dive into what could be one of the most important conversations you have today about protecting yourself and your loved ones online, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. It's a small click for you, but it's a huge signal to us that this information is valuable and that you want to be part of a community that's fighting back against fraud. With your help, we can get this message out to as many people as possible. Okay, let's get into it. Imagine your home office on a quiet afternoon. The gentle hum of your computer is the only sound. You're doing something simple, maybe paying a bill online, looking at pictures of the grandkids, or searching for a new recipe. The quiet rhythm of the day is suddenly broken. The phone rings with an unfamiliar number, or maybe an alarming, full-screen message flashes on your computer screen with a loud, blaring sound. This isn't a glitch. This is the precise moment a tech support scam begins. These schemes are not random acts of cybercrime. They are elaborate impersonation scams where criminals, often working out of fraudulent call centers around the globe, pretend to be representatives from well-known tech companies like Microsoft, Apple, or McAfee. Their one and only goal is to deceive you into believing your computer has a serious, crippling issue that requires immediate attention. From there, they aim to trick you into paying for worthless support services or, in many cases, to gain access to your money and personal information.
Yeah. Which credit card do you have?
I'm sorry,
right
could
now?
you just hold on one more second?
Okay.
The scope of this problem is staggering. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, reported that in 2024 alone, consumers reported losing more than $12.5 billion to fraud, a significant 25% increase over the previous year. While the number of fraud reports remained stable, the percentage of people who reported losing money jumped from 27% to 38%. Imposter scams, which are the category that includes tech support scams, topped the list of reported fraud categories, accounting for a reported $2.95 billion in losses. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3, reported that adults 60 and older lost $98 million to tech scams alone in 2024, making them a primary and deliberate target. The deliberate targeting of older adults is a critical and deeply personal component of this fraud. These criminal organizations understand that their target audience may have more accumulated wealth and, in some cases, may be more trusting. This makes them lucrative target. A particularly insidious consequence of this targeting is the sense of shame and embarrassment victims often feel after being scammed, a feeling so strong it can prevent them from seeking help. Just listen to the story of Phyllis Weisberg, a 90-year-old widow who lost $20.
Why did they do it to me? I didn't do anything to them. I feel a senior citizen who's living on a certain amount of money to begin with.
After the ordeal, she felt total embarrassment and asked herself, how could I do anything that stupid? But this wasn't a personal failing. It was a targeted attack by a well-organized criminal enterprise. The story of another victim's father-in-law, who was threatened by scammers after refusing to pay for a non-existent repair, highlights this sense of personal violation. Fewer reports mean less data for law enforcement to investigate and build cases, which allows scammers to continue operating with greater impunity. By understanding that this is a sophisticated, organized crime, not a personal failure, individuals can be empowered to speak out and break this cycle, thereby helping to protect others. Scammers have two primary methods for initiating contact with potential victims. The first is the classic cold call. This is an unsolicited phone call that comes out of the blue, often with the caller claiming to be from a well-known company like Microsoft or Apple. The caller ID might even be spoofed to display a legitimate-looking support number, making it difficult to determine the true origin of the call. The second, and an increasingly common method, is the pop-up panic. This is where an alarming, full-screen message appears on a computer screen, often with loud audio warnings, flashing lights, and a message claiming you have a virus or other critical issue. These pop-ups are designed to create a sense of extreme urgency and often include a phone number to call for immediate assistance. A detailed look at the pop-up panic reveals a fundamental truth about these scams. The technical component is often just a psychological tool, not a true security threat. The pop-up itself is typically not a real virus. It's a clever browser trick that uses simple code to create a jarring, full-screen alert. These fake error messages often use official logos and names from trusted companies like Microsoft to appear legitimate. The message may contain loud audio alerts and flashing warnings to further create a state of panic. And it may even lock your browser or disable your task manager to make it seem like your computer has been taken over. But here's the key. The goal is not to hack your computer with the pop-up itself, but to manipulate you into calling the provided number, which is where the real scam begins. This is a crucial point to understand. The so-called critical issue is an illusion. designed to get you on the phone with a criminal who can then initiate the real fraud. The scammer isn't a master hacker. They are a master manipulator. Their technical tools, such as browser lockers and fake system messages, are rudimentary, but their psychological tools, which exploit fear and a sense of urgency, are what truly disarm their victims. Here is a simple checklist to distinguish between a legitimate pop-up and a scam. Once a person calls the number from a pop-up or receives a cold call, the scammer's script begins. The caller will pretend to be a professional technician and will likely use a mix of confusing technical jargon and a calm, reassuring tone to confuse the victim and establish a false sense of credibility.
Now, since your phone lines are not secure, what I will do is, as I'm sending emails, I'll be also getting you connected with the Apple's anti-hacking team. And this call that you'll be getting from the bank, the call that will be getting from the bank is not your local bank. It will be from the head office fraud department, okay?
Right.
They will often ask the person to give them remote access to their computer, claiming they need to diagnose and fix the problem. They might ask the person to download a remote access application, like Supremo, which gives them full control of the computer. Once they have control, the scammer may open legitimate system files and event logs, misrepresenting normal system messages as proof of non-existent errors or viruses. At this point, the scammer can install malware, steal personal information, or even lock the user out of their own system, demanding a ransom to regain control. In some cases, as the story of the father-in-law shows, they may even follow through on their threats if you refuse to pay, crashing the system to make it look like they have the power to destroy it. They're also likely to demand payment in a method that is difficult to trace or reverse, like a gift card, wire transfer, or even cryptocurrency. Scammers are constantly adapting their tactics to become more convincing and to target people in new, increasingly complex ways. They have moved beyond simple cold calls to more sophisticated, multi-layered cons. One common variation is the refund scam. In this scenario, the scammer contacts a person and claims they are owed a refund for a service or subscription they never purchased. They might claim a company is going out of business or that they accidentally overcharged the person. They then attempt to gain banking information to process the refund, sometimes claiming they have refunded too much and asking the victim to pay back the extra amount, thereby stealing money.
And this is the refund form from Bank of America, from our bank. You need to type your information, ma'am, not mine. You are getting the refund. I'm not getting a refund.
A more complex and dangerous version is the phantom hacker scam, which is a multi-layered scheme involving a network of criminals. It often begins with a person receiving a warning about a technical issue from a scammer posing as tech support. They are then transferred to another scammer who impersonates a government official or bank representative. This new person then convinces the victim that their financial accounts have been compromised and that they must act immediately to protect their money. The scammer will instruct the victim to withdraw cash, purchase gift cards, or even buy gold bars to be picked up by a courier. This adds a significant layer of false legitimacy and trust, as the victim believes they are speaking with an official and not a criminal. The FBI is now warning about these scams, which can last for weeks or months, and involve multiple people and even couriers to pick up cash and gold bars. This reveals the true nature of these operations. They are not a single person working alone, but a structured, professional criminal enterprise. The success of tech support scams has very little to do with advanced hacking and everything to do with manipulating human psychology. This practice, known as social engineering, is the art of tricking people into revealing sensitive information or giving up their money. Scammers exploit our natural human vulnerabilities, such as fear, a desire to trust authority, and a need to solve problems to bypass all our technical safeguards. Scammers rely on a set of core psychological tactics to make their cons work. They understand that if they can control a person's emotional state, they can control their actions. The urgency trap. This is perhaps the most common tactic. Scammers create a false sense of crisis, making a person believe their computer or finances are in immediate danger. They use high-pressure phrases like, "You must act now," or "Your bank account is about to be drained," to panic the victim into acting quickly without thinking. This is why a pop-up warning often includes loud, persistent audio and a message that won't go away. It's designed to overwhelm your logical thought process. The authority effect. Impersonating a trusted brand or institution gives scammers a powerful air of legitimacy. They use official-sounding technical jargon, and in some cases, they will even provide fake documents on official-looking letterhead. They are leveraging the trust you have in these institutions to make you drop your guard and comply with their demands. The empathy scam. Many scammers will use personal information they have gathered from public data leaks, social media, or past phishing attempts to build a rapport. They might know your name, address, or the type of computer you have. By casually mentioning these details, they create the illusion that they are a legitimate contact who knows you and your situation, making you more likely to trust them. This practice, known as pretexting, is a core method of social engineering. These three tactics work in concert. The urgency traps a person in a moment of panic. The authority effect makes their demands seem legitimate. And the empathy scam makes the scammer seem trustworthy. Understanding these psychological principles is the most powerful tool for defending against them. When a person encounters a suspected scam, the most important thing they can do is follow a simple 3-step plan. 1. Stop. Immediately stop all communication. Hang up the phone, close the pop-up, and do not respond to the email or text message. Do not click on any links or call any numbers provided in the message. 2. Drop the fear and panic. Remember that a legitimate tech company will never contact you out of the blue to demand money or remote access to your device. A real system warning from Microsoft or Apple will never include a phone number to call. 3. Disconnect. Physically disconnect your computer from the internet. Unplug the Ethernet cable or turn off the Wi-Fi. This simple action can prevent a scammer from gaining remote access or installing malware on your device. A robust defense against these scams involves a combination of smart digital habits and technical safeguards. Be skeptical. Assume that any unsolicited contact about a computer problem is a scam. If someone claims to be from a tech company and you did not initiate the contact, it is almost certainly a fraud attempt. Verify, verify, verify. If you are concerned about a real issue, independently contact the company using an official phone number or website. Never use a number provided by the suspicious caller or pop-up. Password security. If you have been compromised, immediately change all of your passwords, especially for banking and email accounts. Use a password manager to create and store strong, unique passwords for every account. Technical safeguards. Keep your operating system and antivirus software updated, as these updates often patch security vulnerabilities that scammers can exploit. Consider using a modern web browser like Microsoft Edge, which has built-in features to block known scam sites and pop-up loops. You can also manage your browser's pop-up settings to prevent them from appearing in the first place. The distinctions between a legitimate tech company and a scammer are stark and can be easily identified. While these scams may seem overwhelming, it is important to remember that a global community of people is actively fighting back. Individuals known as scambaiters, such as the YouTuber Jim Browning, have dedicated themselves to exposing and disrupting these criminal operations. Jim Browning, a software engineer, started his YouTube channel after a relative was scammed and now works with law enforcement to infiltrate fraudulent call centers. He has even collaborated with fellow YouTuber Mark Rober to create automated glitter bombs to identify and report money mules, the people who receive and forward the stolen money. Another scambaiter, Kit Boga, uses a different but equally powerful approach. He pretends to be a scam victim and uses a voice changer and virtual machines to waste scammers' time, walking them through their own scripts to expose their lies and educate the public. The work of these individuals and others like them helps to demystify these scams, showing that they can be fought and that people are not alone in their battle against them. This transforms the narrative from one of passive victimhood to one of collective resistance. The most powerful defense against tech support scams is not an expensive piece of software, but your own common sense and vigilance. The central tactic of every scam is to make you act without thinking. Therefore, the single most important rule is to slow down. Legitimate companies will never use high-pressure tactics or demand unusual forms of payment. If you receive an unsolicited call or see an alarming pop-up, take a moment to pause. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. The most meaningful action you can take is to remember and share this information with your family and friends. By empowering yourself with knowledge, you become a shield for your entire community.